If you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son, cause I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Jay-Z's got to be one of those personalities, you know what I'm saying? He's just larger than life. He's one of the richest guys to ever be a part of the rap game. And he's earned the personality he has publicly. Historically, there isn't a whole bunch that he's ever felt the need to apologize for. That's changed recently. Sure, he's been through some drama in his past. There was a whole cheating debacle that Solange beat the ever-living stuff out of him for. And even worse than that, he stabbed a dude that he thought was behind the bootlegging of Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, his 4th album. But, that's not why we're here today. That's not why we're here today. We're here today because Jay-Z's learned from his past, and he isn't afraid to be a truly big person and apologize for things he's done that don't sit right with him these days. To be more specific, he's apologizing for some lyrics that he penned, then rapped on the hit song Big Pimpin'. The song itself is one of the bigger earlier singles that Jay-Z released. It came out back in 2000 on the album we mentioned earlier, Volume 3. The song also featured a couple other big names, having a big spot from UGK and production by legendary producer Timbaland. The thing is, though, this isn't even the first time the song has been subject to controversy. The first time, it was more about money than it was lyrics, but it was still in a pretty bad situation for everyone, from Jay-Z himself to Linkin Park. The song itself features a sample from a song called Kosara Kosara, which is a track released originally in Egypt in 1957. After a while, there was a rendition of the track that got really big in Egypt, which had been included on the belly dancing music tape. Timbaland, who handled the production on this one, had sampled another song featured on his compilation before, for Raise Up by P.D. Pablo. The nephew of the composer claimed that he had at least partial rights to the song, and therefore the sample should have been cleared with him, and he should receive royalties from the song. The judge in this case found pretty much nothing to actually back this claim up, and Jay-Z won the case. Not only that, but again in 2015, the court said that they had made their decision. This type of thing happens pretty much all the time in the music world, and Jay-Z actually had a pretty good defense for the situation. He simply claimed that clearing samples isn't his responsibility. And to be honest, that's just true. Like, sure, Jay-Z raps and puts his name on the track, but it's definitely much more of the producer's job to make sure that all the samples in the beat itself are cleared. But all the suits at the label should call it out if they notice too. When you're dumping that much money into music as a label, you should probably have an entire department that's devoted to just that kind of thing. But enough with all the legal talk. Let's go ahead and get into the real juicy stuff on this one. Just to talk for a second about how Big Pimpin' actually was for a second, let's get into the charts. The album went platinum, and this track was a big part of that. Not just platinum, but like triple platinum, no. The song itself got to number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100. It also made the list Rolling Stone put out in 2010 of the 500 greatest songs of all time. The problem is, for being one of the songs that realistically made the man, he doesn't think it holds up. He was already pretty well established by the time he put this track out, but this album is really the culmination of all his efforts to build his rap empire. This is the one that cemented him as the biggest of the big names in the game, okay? And he's expressed that he thinks a lot of the stuff he writes is really profound, and some of it can be, especially on some of his more introspective albums like 444. The title track on that album specifically really speaks to the fact that he's more than just a celebrity who talks tough. He's a living, breathing human being. He has feelings, fears, dreams, hopes for his personal life. He's also completely willing to admit that a lot of the stuff he's written isn't the most flattering image of who he is. He points out that on Big Pimpin' specifically, he got real rough with some of the lines in his verses. In regards to this track specifically, he had this to say when speaking on his musical history during an interview with the Sunday Times. That's the exception. I was like, I can't believe I said that, and kept saying it. What kind of animal would say this sort of thing? Really, it is really harsh. It seems like this is pretty closely related to the kind of answer he gave when he was asked about how he'd like to be remembered when he's gone years down the line, what kind of legacy? He said, I have no idea. I'm not beyond ego, right? Hopefully they speak of me with the names of Bob Marley and all the greats, but that's not for me to say. If he really wants to be remembered like that, he knows that he's gonna have to right some of the wrongs that he's made in the past. Now, How bad are the lyrics to Big Pimpin' in reality? Rappers get called misogynistic or told they promote a negative lifestyle all the time, right? This is true. And regardless of how you feel about it, sometimes rappers come out and say stuff they shouldn't have said. And this can happen in their bars and interviews, wherever really. Shoot, Eminem built most of his career off of this type of thing, and he's considered a legend by most people by now, even people outside of the rap community. But, while it's easy to get nitpicky about that kind of stuff too, what's not enough, what crosses the line, etc., sometimes there's some stuff that is actually a bit too far. While a lot of the song is just about selling stuff to people in the streets, this was pretty much par for the course at that time in rap. That doesn't really seem to be part of the equation that Jay's concerned with. We're also not about to get into the kind of stuff that Bun B and Pimp C from UGK rap, because that's a whole different thing, right? We're talking about Jay right now, and we're not gonna lie, we kind of wish we didn't have to. He's right when he says that some of the lines he had on this track are more than a little rough. The whole song is basically just the three of them putting on these big street personas, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of what Jay-Z got famous for doing, The problem is when we get into his treatment of women on the track, not only does it feel like he's using even the mention of them as props for his lyrics, but it gets even more dehumanizing than that. A lot of people are going to want to claim that this is just how dudes are with women or that he was playing a character, but the first response isn't healthy. If Jay's taking responsibility for what he wrote, y'all should be able to take a step back and say, okay, maybe he's right on this one. Maybe this isn't just a bit on the dated side, right? The way Jay wrote about women on this track was never okay, not even when it was written. But at that point, we should well be past all that. So, what kind of stuff did he say and what was so bad? Well, here you go. I thug them, fuck them, love them, leave them, cause I don't fucking need them. Take them out the hood, keep them looking good, but I don't fucking feed them. First time they fuss, I'm breezing. Talking about what's the reasons. I'm a pimp in every sense of the word, bitch. Better trust and believe them. In the cut where I keep them, so you can be living it up. I parts with nothing. Y'all be front. Me give my heart to a woman? Not for nothing. Never happen. I'll be forever macking. Heart cold as assassins. I got no passion. I got no patience, and I hate waiting. Get your ass in. Oh my God. Yo, so there that is. As you can pretty much plainly see here, it's pretty bad. We're not gonna call out the language or anything like that. I mean, he's an adult. He can curse if he wants to. The issue is that the lyrics on the track point to a super unhealthy relationship with women. He's basically claiming that he uses and manipulates women, refuses to spend money on them because he thinks he's being exploited by them, and also pretty much claims that he's never going to fall in love with a woman ever. Beyonce. We think Beyonce would probably have some opinions on how that point of view would work for him now. This is pretty much a look into the toxic masculinity that can reach a lot of young males that think it's cool to look tough. So even if you have to make yourself an emotionless mess, do that. But don't, though, really, truly, don't do that. That's bad. This kind of macho tough stuff just ends up hurting everyone, not just the person it's affecting. It can ruin relationships with people around you, hurt women, and in the long run, even hurt yourself. We're not trying to sound too preachy like we're doing a PSA or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just that this calls to mind some kind of heavy topics. We'd also like to say before we're finished that we're glad that Jay settled down, figured stuff out, and fell in love. And obviously has a much better relationship with women now. The drastic change in the way he talks about women from his early albums into his later albums is insane, frankly. And it's a change for the better. No one questions whether or not Jay-Z is tough or not. That's not what it's about. And he doesn't talk about women like that anymore. It's almost like he never needed to. Man, imagine that. You don't have to degrade women to be a hard-ass nigga. That's crazy. Okay. I mean, but, what do y'all think about everything, though? Do you think Jay is really gonna go down as one of the best music legends of all time? I mean, he is, so, or is he just overreacting to the lyrics he wrote on Big Pimpin'? Do you think he's actually changed? Let us know what you think about all these questions and more down in the comments. Leave a like, share, and sub to the channel if you haven't already. And always, for more rap news, inject it directly into your YouTube feed. You already know what to do. Keep it RIZZLE.